Well, Nevada's back in the news because Nevada marijuana consumption lounges are on the way, and they could soon become industry's new frontier, according to a former top regulator. Nevada's marijuana lounges are coming soon, and the state's former top regulator says the social consumption facilities could represent new frontier of the legal cannabis industry after an extensive rulemaking process that laid a robust foundation for the marketplace. Tyler Klimas, who served as executive director of the Nevada Cannabis Compliance Board 2020 to just the end of last year, discussed the state's forthcoming hospitality market during an interview with Weed Wonks that was released this week. After a year-long process to set up rules for consumption lounges, which were legalized under a bill from Assemblyman Steve Yeager, a Democrat in Nevada, and that former Democratic Governor Steve Sisolak signed into law back in 2021, facilities are positioned to open imminently, Klimas said. He also added, and we're going to see them in practice. So it's a very interesting and exciting time to see what happens in this new sector. TCB approved an initial batch of consumption lounges last June, which came after regulators gave preliminary approval to 40 prospective hospitality businesses. In the interview, which was taped last November before he left office, Klimas acknowledged that the private industry and consumers have been eager to see the sector open sooner. He said regulators have been intentionally methodical to ensure success, holding over a dozen public meetings to bring in a wide range of stakeholders before finalizing the rules. For example, at this point, the remaining steps before the approved lounges open are for licensees to find building space, get the local government approvals, and build out their facilities. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. It's an unknown market, he said. There is no blueprint anywhere. We see many business plans and projections, but nobody really knows until we open it up. We don't know how successful it's going to be, which is very exciting. TCB Consumption Lounge Program Officer told Marijuana Moment in an email on Tuesday that we do not have an exact date for the opening of the state's first consumption lounge, period. However, some licenses have offered tentative timelines, with the Las Vegas-based Planet 13 retailer planning to launch its first Based lounge for the Cannabis Holiday 420, for example. Of the 40 provisional licenses that were granted in late 2022, 20 were awarded to new independent businesses, with half of those going to social equity applicants. The other 20 were for existing cannabis retailers that plan to open social use areas. Regulators have agreed to cap the consumption lounge license at 65, at least for now. Rulemaking might have taken longer than consumers and stakeholders would have hoped, but Klimas says it was intended to be that way. And he said the CCB is grateful that the legislature allowed regulators to move through an administrative process to stand up to the sector without overly prescriptive statutes or deadlines to follow. That allowed them to take input from multiple viewpoints so that rules that developed became a solid foundation for the market. He said, obviously, when you're talking about social consumption, you've got local governments playing a huge role in that. You've got law enforcement and the anxieties that law enforcement has, deservedly so, around social consumption. Klimas was replaced and succeeded by James Hum of the Governor's Office of Economic Development. He now leads the CCB. It was important to have the space bring all of the voices in, again, knowing that this is part of the foundation. When we do launch, there's no coming in after the fact saying, I can't believe that happened. I can't believe you guys did that. Unconventional cafe-type facilities, the law also allows for businesses that couple cannabis with yoga, serve infused food, offer THC-aided massage therapy. Oh, he can come here now, right? Or incorporate marijuana in other ways. Palak, the former governor, touted Nevada's lounge in a 420 op-ed for Marijuana Moment in 2022, writing, quote, the idea isn't new, but no one is doing it like we are in Nevada. While most of the consumption lounges in other states don't offer food, beverages, or other entertainment options, he added, Nevada's lounges will be one-stop entertainment shop to create jobs, grow the industry, and boost our economy. The board-approved rules, consumption must be hidden from public view. Smoking and vaping must take place in a separate room of the lounge or be prohibited entirely. What? Single-use or ready-to-use cannabis products can't be brought offsite. Businesses must provide water to every guest free of charge. Lounges will also be cannabis only. No alcohol, no tobacco, or nicotine products can be sold. Other safety-related regulations require lounges to establish plans to limit cannabis-impaired driving and minimize workers' exposure to secondhand smoke. Guns are prohibited. Surveillance is required, and procedures must be in place to reduce and respond potentially violent or harassing behavior. Single-use cannabis products are limited to no more than 3.5 grams of usable cannabis under the regulations, with extracted inhalable cannabis products, such as vaping or dabbing products, limited to 300 milligrams of THC. All single-use products with more than 1 gram of usable cannabis and all extracted inhalables must carry written potency warnings. Individual servings of ready-to-consume edible products are capped at 10 milligrams THC, fairly standard amount in the states that have legalized cannabis for adult use. Logos, meanwhile, are limited to 400 milligrams of THC. Transdermal patches and all other cannabis products have no more than 100 milligrams THC and must carry a written warning if they have more than 10 milligrams. I don't know who's going to a lounge and getting a transdermal patch, first of all. Anyway, so lounges are coming. I don't really see how they're going to make any money. So I'm definitely interested in how it pans out. Do you guys think lounges are a good idea? I mean, I've been to to New Woo here in Vegas on the Indian Reservation, and really a really great setup. And I don't go there to really hang out. I go there more for meetings, which is a good spot. Then I've been to the Cannabis Cafe in California. Actually, Jason and I used to hang out there.
Yeah, we did.
We've been there many
times.
There.
That's
right. Yeah. We did a little interview with Jason over the Cannabis Cafe, and I loved that setup. It was, the ability to order food and smoke a joint, or smoke a joint and order food. And food always tastes better. I really hope it works. I just don't know how these guys are going to make money here in Vegas. You guys think? I'm Todd Dankin with High at 9 News. Hang.
I mean, it's open again now, Todd. They have reopened. So when you,
it was a great experience, wasn't it?
Yeah,
wasn't
that's
it great?
what I'm saying. When you do come out here, we can go and film something over there and check it out again. But yeah, you know what, Todd? You bring up a lot of very interesting, valid points, and I happen to agree with a lot of them. I do think that overall that these businesses can be successful only because they're in Las Vegas, Nevada. Okay, West Hollywood, we have some standalone consumption lounges that are still around. Now, granted, those operators that have just the standalone consumption lounge have other license types to help fund their projects and whatnot, but nonetheless, they're able it's able to stay afloat and the doors are open. But we did just recently have a city meeting, and all of the people that had the edibles only consumption lounges, which were granted up to have 1,500 square feet of combustible cannabis consumption within their establishment, have all basically told the city that their licenses are worth nothing. And that unless they become a default dispensary or have the ability to offer full combustible, their license is worth nothing, and they probably won't ever open.
I see that. They mentioned Planet 13 has a ginormous dispensary and a whole complex here in Vegas. So it makes sense for them, right? It makes sense to be inside a place where you can go buy some weed, walk next door, light it up, smoke it, and go chill, and then get on with your day, right?
That it does. Or even if you're going to be have an offshoot of Circus Olay, do an offshoot of Circus Olay performances, and then open that as a consumption lounge. I think that would be cool, and people would go to that for that.
Or maybe the consumption lounges just hire these these actors and these artists and these musicians and acrobats to come perform some kind of live shit at the lounge.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Basically, what I'm saying is that these businesses are going to need other types of attractions to lure people there, not just the cannabis. The cannabis is a secondary component of why people would go there.
I think they'll go there. The tourists will go there more often than the locals.
Yeah,
and, 40 million people come here a year.
I agree, and that's why I said I think they can be successful since they're in Las Vegas. But if they were in Reno, I don't think they'd be successful at all. They would lose money.
I just think it's ridiculous how overly cautious they are with what could happen and the safety and the drug driving when we just have a million fucking bars people die every night drinking and driving. So it just blows my mind that this isn't just more accepted and being like, oh, you want a place where you can go smoke? Have at it. Here's your business license. Go do it.
Well, you know what the prohibitionists say in regards to that to that argument, Stone Slade, is that we don't necessarily need more intoxicants on the road than we already have. And
that's their argument.
That's their rebuttal to that. Saman, what do you have to say on this?
They just want to tax you to death. They just want to charge you to death. Just to be able to run a profitable business. It's nuts. You have to turn this now you have to turn it into a circus to get people to come and stay and to be a patron of your business.
Mm-hmm. Right.
When all of this started out as, hey, it's a place to collectively group together and come to share ideas. Like exactly like what Stone said, like a freaking bar, like an ale house from, the Roman times. Like they've been doing this, right? So it's another way just to tax us, just to scare us, to move us away from, these businesses, these types of businesses, because it's a money pit. But I will say that I think that there's some cool places that are percolating, in some of these municipalities that are going to be really cool. And I think it just is like, you have to have a really big place. You have to have the commercial kitchen. You have to have the ability to feed people. And to keep people there, and enough of an attraction, as you said, Jason, to get them to come to these events. And some very astute, knowledgeable cannabis Illuminati in our chat have also said that it's like, unless it's an event, there's not really a reason to go to a lounge. Mm-hmm. So it's like
I think you're doing something there.
Yeah,
the whole circus thing, man. I think you should just turn Circus into a giant cannabis lounge.
Hold on. Did you hear though? Did you catch what Saman was actually advocating for? Saman was actually advocating for weed wenches.
Hey man, let me tell you what.
You're gonna teach him how to say hello.
We don't call them.
Let me tell you why. You're gonna co-sign that? Don't take that bait.
Hey, but in all seriousness, my favorite part of this whole story, Todd, is the fact that they are required to give everybody free water. I was so excited about that.
I knew you were gonna zero in on that.
I was so excited about that because I can't tell you how much money I spend in Vegas when I'm in Vegas on actual bottles of water, and how far you have to travel in that desert to actually find a good bottle of water. It is insane.
Now you got a reason to go to a cannabis lounge.
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna go there just for the water, just to hydrate.
Yeah, just to hydrate. Hear that, stoners? Go hydrate. Get to those lounges and hydrate.
Exactly.
There's a big ass CVS right in the middle, man. I always hit that shit up and get.
That's my favorite CVS. Yeah, I just stock up. I buy so much water, it's ridiculous.
Yep.
I think the lounges have to be things to do when you're stoned kind of a lounge. Oh, video games.
That's what I'm saying. That it has to be something else of why people are going there. It can't just be because they're going there to smoke weed. It has to be some other type of attraction, or else these things are never going to survive.
You got to be able to make money and afford that license.
Go ahead, Mary.
I think it's pretty problematic, the fact that and again, I don't really understand how small this region is or how large this region is. Like where exactly the the zoning is for allowing these on-site consumption lounges to exist, but 65 of them in Vegas, which isn't that large, seems like overkill. And just by that alone, I think that's going to cause a problem, because the more consumption lounges there are, the less money they ultimately end up making, especially in small regions. So I think that actually creates an issue. And if there were less, I think it would be better for business owners. And with that though, I do think that it is important that there are on-site consumption lounges in Las Vegas for people who don't drink. It seems crazy that people who don't drink would ever go to Vegas, but I think that just having that option there will provide people an opportunity to, choose something different if they want to, or both, whatever. And I think that while 65 is too many, I do think that having on-site consumption lounges in general there in Vegas is important.
Hey Todd, what happened to the Artisan Hotel? Whatever happened to that?
It's still there. They are operating, and they have a new name though now.
Weren't they supposed to have topless? They were supposed to have boobs and blunts over there.
No, they're completely operating. They have events there all the time.
Are they topless
I've been to an
events?
event there. It's a great place.
Are they topless
I have
events?
not been to a topless event as of yet, but I'm willing to go check it out.
I appreciate that, Todd. Thank you.
Let us know.
Thank you for your sacrifice. Thank you for your sacrifice, Todd.